Rasmus Sandin, Josh Morrissey, and Miro Heiskanen. Those defensemen won people fantasy hockey leagues last year, and I'm trying to help you guys find those type of players this upcoming season, young defensemen that are going to break out. So let's start it off with a guy that I'm a little bit unsure of. Let's get him out of the way. It's Calen Addison of the Minnesota Wild. Listen, Calen Addison was great as a rookie last year. He played on the first line power play unit. He's 23 years old, entering his prime, put up 29 points in 62 games, 18 power play points, but I am just a little bit skeptical because there's been some issues with Addison in the Minnesota Wild. They haven't agreed to a contract yet, which isn't the biggest deal, but we've heard rumors that he wasn't happy with the situation, only averaging 16 minutes of ice time per game. As you can see, he had a monster amount of power play time, 3 minutes and 28 seconds, but he wasn't used as a top pairing defenseman. He's a little bit of a defensive liability in my opinion. He was minus 17 last year, and that is my main concern. Is he going to be on the third pairing again? If that's the case, it's just hard for him to break out. We haven't seen from him that he could be a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. He got scratched a bunch of games last year, and I just worry that a similar type of situation is going to happen. For that reason, I'm not that interested in drafting Calen Addison, especially because his peripherals are not great. He doesn't take a lot of shots, not a lot of hits or blocks. We want a defenseman to put up great numbers in that department, and just because of the uncertainty surrounding the situation with the Wild right now, I do think he is a snub on this list, and I'm not sure how high of a ceiling he has in this offense. Next up is Anaheim Ducks defenseman Jamie Drysdale, former 6th overall pick in the 2020 NHL entry draft, and he missed pretty much all of last season with the torn labrum. He only played 8 games. I don't think he is going to have a monster breakout, which is why he's lower on this list, but I do think there is a potential for him to hit 40 points this year. I don't think the Ducks are going to be good, so it does come down to first line power play time. Is he going to be on that first unit? Obviously, you have Cam Fowler there, who was pretty good on the power play last year. Drysdale did see some power play time in the 2021-2022 season, in which he put up 32 points in 81 games, but there's no guarantee that Drysdale is going to be on that first unit, so he's not a guy that I'm targeting in drafts, but he is a guy that I'm going to keep an eye on and see how he develops throughout the season. Maybe the Ducks can surprise some people. I will not bet on that. We will see what happens, but he is lower on this list for those reasons. First breakout candidate I want to talk about is Owen Power of the Buffalo Sabres, and he is lower on this list for a number of reasons. The first reason being that he kind of already broke out last year. As a rookie, he put up 35 points in 79 games. That is extremely solid. The second reason is that he already got plenty of ice time last year, 23 minutes and 48 seconds of ice time per game. He almost got 2 minutes of power play time a game. You're not going to see that power play total increase with Rasmus Sandin on the first power play unit, so you have to question how many points can Owen Power really put up. If you're looking at other defensemen in the NHL, there are not many defensemen who can put up 50 plus points without first power play unit time, so it is going to be hard for Owen Power to break 50 points. The reason Power is on this list is because I do think he is going to increase his point total, maybe by 5 to 10 points. Maybe he can put up 10 goals as well. Who knows? It is not going to be a huge breakout, but I do expect him to improve upon his rookie season, so keep an eye out for him on this offensively talented Buffalo Sabres team. Number 8 on this list is Brandt Clarke of the Los Angeles Kings. He has only played 9 games in the NHL. He put up 2 assists last year in those 9 games. He has shown a lot of promise. Former 8th overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft. He was great in the OHL last year. He was also a monster in the playoffs, putting up 23 points in 12 games. Because Durzi is gone, he has that opportunity now, and Durzi was great on the Kings last year. Durzi put up 9 goals and 38 points. There's a chance on this amazing Kings offense that Brandt Clarke can put up some numbers, maybe 30 to 40 points. Who knows? He will be on that second unit, and the Kings kind of run 2 power play units. That will definitely benefit Clarke and his fantasy production. He is not a guy that I'm going to be drafting because generally rookie defensemen aren't great, but there is potential there, and I do think he can put up 30 to 40 points like I said, so keep an eye out. In a deep league, he could be rosterable. Clarke definitely has the potential to be a superstar in the NHL sometime down the line. Next up is Rasmus Sandin of the Washington Capitals. He got traded from the Leafs to the Caps before the trade deadline last year, and he absolutely popped off on the Caps, putting up 15 points in 19 games. Unfortunately, this was largely due to the fact that John Carlson was out with an injury, giving Sandin first power play time. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is that Carlson is back. He is healthy. He is going to be on that first unit, so that is definitely concerning for the potential for Sandin to break out. Sandin had 35 points in 71 games last year. How many points do we think he is going to get without that power play time? I do not know. However, I do know that Sandin is offensively gifted and entering the prime of his career. Maybe he could take some power play time away from Carlson and still get a decent amount of time. Sandin does not have a lot of competition on defense. He is going to see a good amount of even strength time. I do think because of that, he could be a guy that hits 40 to 50 points, but 50 points is probably his ceiling because of that that lack of first line power play time. That's the main reason he's lower on this list, but I felt like I should include him because he is a guy that showed a lot of promise last year, and there is a potential that he could do the same this upcoming season. One of my favorite young defensemen to watch, Bowen Byram of the Colorado Avalanche. He played great last year. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for his NHL career. I'm hoping that this year is the year that he can play a full season, but looking at his totals last year in 42 games, he had 24 points. Of these 24 points, he had 10 goals. That's almost a 20 goal pace and a 48 point pace as well, and he put up these numbers despite only having a minute and 18 seconds of power play time a game. Extremely impressive. Obviously, they have some guy named Cale Makar on the first unit that Bowen Byram cannot compete with in terms of power play time, but with Landeskog out, there is a chance they could run 3 forwards and 2 defensemen on the first unit. My hope is that he sees more power play time, like I said, and if he plays a full season, he is going to be a beast on this Avalanche team that is an offensive superpower. He is 22 years old. He is entering the prime of his career, and I am just excited to see him this season, hopefully playing a full 82 game year. We will see what happens, but in general, I think he is a guy that is going to be rosterable in most leagues. He is a great late round guy. Cross your fingers for some more power play time, and this guy potentially could hit 50 to 60 points this year. Next up is Cam York of the Philadelphia Flyers, a former 14th overall pick in the 2019 NHL entry draft. He wasn't a full-time player last year, only playing 54 games. He spent some time in the AHL, but in these 54 games, he put up 20 points, which was pretty decent numbers on this terrible Flyers team. Tony DeAngelo was on the first power play unit, and now he is gone, giving Cam York that opportunity to quarterback that power play. That is why I am excited about Cam York. Yes, the Flyers did have the worst power play in the league last year, but I do expect them to improve with guys like Couturier coming back, Cam Atkinson, guys like Owen Tippett and Frost taking another step forward. I'm excited about Cam York this year. I think he really could be a sleeper that you can get late in your draft and pay off in the long run. The Flyers are still going to be pretty terrible, but he is 22 years old, about to be 23. He is entering that prime breakout age, and we love to see young defensemen get first line power play time. That is the recipe for breaking out, so keep an eye out for Cam York. He might not get drafted in your league, so look on your waiver wire, see how he's doing, and he could be a guy that's a great waiver wire pickup. Number 4 is Luke Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, a guy that has a lot of hype. I personally think he is going to be a future superstar in the NHL, and he is finally going to get that opportunity. He was amazing playing for the University of Michigan, 48 points in 39 games in the 2022-2023 season with them. He came up and played 2 games with the Devils, and he put up 2 points. He also scored a game winner. Obviously, his ceiling is capped because you have Dougie Hamilton on that first power play unit, but Luke Hughes is going to see power play time. He's going to be on that second unit. Severson is gone, giving Luke Hughes that opportunity, and on even strength, he is going to be a beast. Look at a player like Dawson Mercer, who had basically no power play time last year. He still put up 27 goals and 56 points. Luke Hughes is likely going to hit 40 to 50 points this year and be fantasy relevant. I do want to temper expectations though. He is a 19-year-old. In best puck or best ball, whatever you want to call it, Luke Hughes is going right beside Drew Doughty. Luke Hughes is also going ahead of Aaron Ekblad and Rasmus Anderson. That is pretty insane in my opinion. The hype is going to be there, and I don't know if his ceiling is that high and if it's going to be worth it. In general, I'm excited about his future. This year might not be the greatest year in fantasy, but in a year or two after that, I am expecting big numbers. He's playing alongside great talent, so expect a decent season out of Luke Hughes and cross your fingers that he can truly break out. Number 3 is Sean Durzi of the Arizona Coyotes, a guy that I am extremely hyped on for this upcoming season. He got moved from the Canes to the Coyotes for a second round pick, and a lot of people are talking about guys like JJ Moser or Yusuf Alamaki being players that could break out, but Bill Armstrong, the GM, has already confirmed that Durzi is going to be running the first power play unit, so Durzi is going to be that guy playing alongside Clayton Keller, an emerging superstar, guys like Barrett Hayden, who is going to break out in my opinion, Nick Schmaltz, who is underrated. This power play could be decent, and he's going to be quarterbacking it, so I am high on Sean Durzi. He's a fantastic puck-moving defenseman, great in transition. He put up 9 goals and a total of 38 points in 72 games last year without being on that first unit. So if the Arizona Coyotes can surprise some people, which I think they can, expect Durzi to put up 50 to maybe 60 points this upcoming year. I will be drafting a lot of Sean Durzi, and he will be slept on. There's a chance that in some of your home leagues, he is going basically the last rounds, and you can get him for free. So draft Sean Durzi. I think he is a guy that has a lot of upside, and that is what we are shooting for in fantasy hockey. And number 2 on this list is Jake Sanderson of the Ottawa Senators, 5th overall pick in the 2020 NHL entry draft, and he had a great rookie season last year, putting up 32 points in 77 games. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, how is he going to break out? You have Chychrun there, you have Chabot. There's a lot of competition for power play time. But guys, I do think there is a chance that Sanderson can be on that first unit. There is no guarantee, but the potential is there, and that's why I'm extremely high on Sanderson. The Senators had the 8th best power play in the league last year, and they only got better. Yes, DeBrincat is a better player than Tarasenko, but DeBrincat wasn't even that great last year. He was great on the power play, but I do think Tarasenko can fit into that role pretty nicely. And now you have Josh Norris back as well, coming back from that injury. He is going to be healthy in that top 6. That is massive for the Sens. The Senators could be a top 5 power play team in the league this year, and I'm extremely excited to see how it all plays out. Even if Chabot is on that first unit, Sanderson is still going to see plenty of power play time. The Sens kind of run 2 units, and I do think, in my opinion, Sanderson was better on the power play than Chabot. The stats back it up also. In March, Chychrun was injured, and it was just Chabot and Sanderson. Chabot was a little bit banged up, but they actually gave Sanderson first power play unit time over Chabot. We saw a couple of games where that happened, and Sanderson definitely impressed me, so that is why he is on this list. He's an extremely young, talented player. If he is quarterbacking the first unit, he is likely going to hit 50 to 60 points in my opinion, and you can get him super late in drafts. If he's not on the first unit, I still think he is going to improve upon his rookie season, putting up around 40 points. He has to be a top 3 defenseman breakout this season, so keep an eye out for him, see how it develops with the Senators. I am going to be drafting a lot of Sanderson this year. I think you should too. If he doesn't get drafted in your league, then you definitely want to look to pick him up because the potential is through the roof. The number 1 breakout candidate on this list is none other than Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers. This guy was disappointing for most of the year, but then before the trade deadline, the Oilers moved out Tyson Barrie to the Predators, giving Bouchard the ability to quarterback the first power play unit, the best power play in the league, in fact, the best power play in the NHL history. And once that happened, he really started to play incredible. You saw in the playoffs, guys, in 12 games, he had 17 points. That is massive for a defenseman, and 15 of those 17 points were from the power play. Now, I do expect some regression from the Oilers. I don't think they can sustain a 32.3% power play. However, I do expect them to still have the best power play in the league, and Bouchard is a lock on there, playing alongside the greatest players in the NHL right now, Connor McDavid and Leon Drysdale. That means he is going to produce, and in my opinion, this guy could hit 60 to 70 points this year, maybe even more. He's also a guy that takes a good amount of shots, blocks, and hits, so I'm going to be drafting Bouchard a ton this season. I want you guys to draft Bouchard too. I think that he has the upside, which is what we are shooting for in fantasy hockey. If you're looking at his ADP right now, he's going in the 4th or 5th round, depending on how many teams you have in your league. He is going as the 8th defenseman on Underdog, and I think there is a potential for him to be a top 3 defenseman in fantasy hockey, so I will be clicking that draft button all day long. That's it for the video, guys. Hit that subscribe button below, hit that like button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.